Welcome to the Power and Market Report. I'm Albert Liu. Today I'm joined by Jayant Bhandari, the writer, investor, and host of the annual Capitalism and Morality Seminar in Vancouver. He joins me today from India. Jayant, thanks for joining me on the Power and Market Report. It's good to see you again. How are you?
I'm very good, Albert. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you, Jayant. And I'm going to go ahead and push this button right away. What's up with all the hoarding going on now, and where did all the toilet paper go?
Well, it is absolutely crazy, Albert. When people fight for toilet paper, there has to be something wrong with those people. You can go out and pick up leaves if you really need a replacement for toilet paper, and water works just fine. I lived half my life without knowing what the toilet paper was. So this hysteria about toilet paper shows to me how hysterical the society is becoming right now with this coronavirus scare.
Yeah, it is strange, Jayant. It's one of those cases where there was no problem, and then the way people responded created a problem that wouldn't have otherwise existed. So that's not good. But the problem is they're buying all the food too, Jayant. It's getting harder and harder to get sort of life's necessities now, for at least the short term.
It is certainly making society dysfunctional, and I can truly understand that the virus can actually spread across the society. But to take care of that, what you have to do is to make sure you don't come too close to other people, and you take some precautionary measures. And I have nothing against those, but taking away everything from the supermarket does no good to anyone. Certainly does no good to the society. And virus is a social problem we have today. And we should understand that other people also need toilet paper, and other people also need rice and other food from the supermarket.
Jayant, I know that you travel a lot. You're one of the people I know who at times literally lives out of a suitcase. So you're in India now, but you've probably been traveling around. I'm wondering, what are the differences in behavior you've noticed among the different cultures? Is what we're doing here in the U.S., is that unique to us?
No, not at all. I think US people are behaving differently. They are going a bit hysterical. I was in the Middle East about 15 days back. I saw virtually no sign of coronavirus bothering those people. And I'm currently in India, and here people seem to think that if they exchange posts on WhatsApp, they can cure the problem. They send each other superstitious posts. They want to drink urine of cow or exchange photographs of gods and think that would cure the problem. And then they walk and stand close to each other. They are not giving up on social life. You can go to temples and they are packed with people. So unfortunately, people here should be taking some precautionary measures, but they are not. People, depending on what culture they are from, are behaving differently. As you can see in East Asia, they have been able to bring this virus rapidly under control. In Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, and China, of course, they are responsible for creating the virus. But once they got to know about it, that it was going to spread badly, they brought that under control very rapidly. Today, China has fewer sick people because of virus than Italy and Iran.
Jayant, during the early part of this year, were you at any time in China, Japan, South Korea, or any of those places that went through it before we did?
Well, I was in very close to Wuhan in late November last year, and I have been to Hong Kong several times in the last few months. But this was all before the coronavirus hit the headlines.
Okay. So, have you been following what the government is doing here in this country? And if so, what do you think about their actions? Are they doing what they should be doing? Are they doing too much? What are your thoughts? We're closing down restaurants, bars, and being encouraged to stay indoors and all those sorts of things.
Well, I think what Trump said was probably the right approach. He did not want to take this virus too seriously. And I'm no expert on this issue, so I don't want to make too sweeping claims on this. But Trump's approach was probably a better one. But now his hands are tied. If he does not take measures based on what hysteria tells him to do, and if things go wrong, he will be held responsible. Now, things can always go wrong, but you have to make a weighted approach to every scenario. And it is entirely likely that they have taken extraordinarily difficult measures to control virus, which will likely spread the virus. Look at the videos coming out of airports in the US. There are tens of thousands, if not more people lining up to get out of the airport inside the airport. Now, if you put people so close to each other to screen them, you're more likely to spread the virus rather than reduce the chances of virus spreading.
Yeah, that is a scary picture, Jayant. Okay, let's turn our attention to things that maybe we're qualified to talk about, and that is markets. The Dow Jones, it broke the threshold of 20,000. It was trading up in early trading overnight, but it's since broken down past 20,000s. A lot of companies, for example, the airlines, are in danger of running out of cash. There's problems in oil and the entire complex there. The GDXJ is down back to levels we haven't seen, I think, since 2016. So what are your thoughts on how what's going on in the capital markets is going to affect the companies that you follow? You're a resource investor. You follow these small companies. How is it going to affect them?
Many companies that I know are running just fine. Their people are going to the companies. They are operating at the projects properly. There's nothing wrong with those companies. But in a single day, their share prices fall by 50% or 30% and then go up by 70 or 80%. This is absolutely crazy. People are going hysterical, and margin clerks are selling whatever they can sell. Buyers have disappeared from the market. And this is not how investment should have been made. People who are so hysterical and so emotional should have never invested in these companies in the first place. But I am very happy that they are doing this, because I can actually, if I really wanted to, book a profit of 70% in just one day if I play it right. But I am accumulating a lot of stocks that I wanted to accumulate at a much, much cheaper price than I thought I would ever get those stocks at.
What about, has anything fundamentally changed in the sense that, you know, we're seeing funding costs change, we're seeing access to credit change? Is there anything real here that we should be concerned about, though?
Well, of course, we are destroying the economy. So we have harmed the economy by, I would say, maybe about 5, 10, 15%. But at the same time, the stock market has fallen by maybe 30 or 40% in some cases. So there is a differential between how much economies have suffered and how much stock prices have suffered. But if you can pay attention to companies that haven't actually suffered at all, and at the same time, their share prices have fallen by 50% or more, this provides you a unique opportunity to make money. And this has particularly been the case with junior mining companies, and actually not just junior mining companies, but junior small companies across the spectrum. And this is truly a great time to be investing rather than selling.
Is it your view, Jayant, that what we're seeing is a sort of a linear economic hit due to the virus and not something more serious like a pin popping what some people think is a bubble?
Well, I mean, if it has popped the bubble, I was never participant in the bubble anyway. I don't invest in the general market. I don't invest in blue chip companies that trade for 20 or 30 times P by E. I invest in companies that hopefully trade at P by E of 5 or less. And that's the kind of companies I pay attention to. in my view, they haven't popped. There's no reason for them to pop, and they will continue to make a profit, or at least the projections of their profit continue to be very good, particularly given the situation that gold, although it has suffered, hasn't suffered as much as the underlying costs of making gold. For example, oil price has fallen substantially, which will be great for many of the mining companies.
That's a very good point. Jayant, we have to go now, but thank you very much for joining me again, and I look forward to doing it again. My guest has been Jayant Bhandari. You can learn more about him at jayantbhandari.com and follow him on Twitter as I do at JayantBhandari5. Jayant, great to see you again, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Albert.